Hello and welcome to Vitality Women Leading Audaciously. Today, I am honored to have Colleen Biggs from Lead Up Women, the founder and CEO. And I am just thrilled to learn more about her. She has a very interesting story, I'm sure. I haven't heard it yet, so this will be fresh. And I'm just so grateful that you can be here with us today to share your wisdom and some of the hacks that you've created over your life to balance it all. Because she is a mother and even a grandmother, believe it or not. For those of you who can't see her, she is young and vital and beautiful. So welcome, Colleen.
Thank you, Jennifer, so much. And I love why you're doing your podcast and just opening yourself up to meeting new people that you've never met before. And that's really about receiving. And I think that's a big part of vitality too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So well said. I read this book recently called Keys to the Kingdom.
Mm.
And then The Queen's Code just after that by Alison, I think Woodward is her name. And I never understood how important receiving was as a single mom and raised by a single mom. I think that having to own that masculinity made it
Mhm.
elusive to how to receive. But anyway, this is not about me, Colleen. This is about you. So please tell us about how you got to where you are, your story, and where it's led you to today.
Well, I too was a single mother, so we definitely connect on that front as well. And when you're in go mode and you're constantly serving others and you're pouring from an empty cup, we drain out pretty quickly. So I'm glad that we get the opportunity to talk about vitality and how we fill our cups and what we do. And that was one of the reasons why I created Lead Up for Women was I needed to fill my circle, my inner circle, my cup with kind non-competitive women, women that wanted to collaborate over competition, women that had the power and they had a purpose and they wanted to get out there and they wanted to share what that was and they wanted to network and be with other like-minded women. They knew they were powerful, but some of them just weren't sure how to do it, right? They weren't sure how to share their message or they just needed the strength of other women around them to help lift them up. And I come from corporate America. So in corporate America, every single one of us as women probably have said in some time in our lifetime that we've worked in a male dominated industry. Well, every single industry that was ever created was male dominated because male created every industry. We have to remember that we entered the workforce way late. And so, but what we bring to the workforce is such a nurturing, compassionate side of understanding and getting to know people. And that is huge in leadership roles, management roles, executive roles. And there was a lot of competition, a lot of judgment, a lot of, throwing people under the bus in my corporate days. And I didn't like that. And so just like you, Jennifer, I had a small circle of women, a couple of them that were my best friends that I had had for a long, long time. But I surrounded myself with a lot of male friends because there wasn't that competition or judgment or anything I had to deal with then. And then when I left corporate America, I knew coming out as an entrepreneur because I had been coaching entrepreneurs for 22 years at that point, launched over 340 businesses. There were two things that we needed. One, you had to lean into your strengths, your experience, your knowledge, and your wisdom. We really needed to know who we were so that we could hire other staff, so that we could build a company. We needed to know what our strengths were. Two, we needed to tell everybody about us. So I figured, well, if I could put a community together where we could tell everybody about us at the same time that we could be in a safe and nurturing environment where we could build on our strengths and our skill sets and form new skill sets and learn new habits from other women that have maybe done it before us, why not create that type of community? So that's what I did. And over the last 3 years, it's grown to, tens and thousands of women to be able to come together to support each other. And we do Member Monday spotlights, and we do Teaching Tuesday webinars, and we do podcasts on Wednesday, and Thrive Thursday spotlights on Thursday to show and spotlight a female that inspires us to thrive. So every day of the week, we're doing something different to spotlight a member in our community, but we're also coming together as sisters, we just genuinely care about each other. We want to open doors for others and connect others to other communities. And my vision is much larger than just Lead Up for Women. It's really about women as a whole and us grasping and understanding that if we could just lean into the confidence, the self-esteem, and be confident about who we are authentically and not wait for someone else to give us permission to be that person, then we become role models and models for our kids and those people
Hmm.
around us. That's
Absolutely.
really how we change the world.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, remembering actually, because even though women aren't paid as much, and so on and so forth, in terms of equality, we control the GPD because
Yeah,
we
we
are
do.
spending everything. We make the decisions in the household. We are raising the future generations. I mean, really, everything is in our hands, literally and figuratively. And if our hearts and our minds are not remembering our greatness, which my heart and my mind oftentimes forget. I have my days, and I need to be reflected back to, oftentimes by my daughter, sometimes by my sister, oftentimes by my romantic partner. But we all forget, and we need
Yeah.
to have people around us who can lift us up. And that was a new reality for me, that women could do that. And
Yeah.
I just commend you for your work in bringing that to the forefront, because it just felt like high school all over again, again and again and again. And I thought, there's got to be women who lift, and there are. And look at you, you're collecting them and promoting them. It's beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful
There's a
work.
lot of women out there that are on this same mission, and it's just amazing how God just drops them in your path when you're ready.
I I believe that is
Yeah.
true. And so there was a time, though, along your journey when you were a mom, and you still are, but like you were juggling a lot of things.
Mm.
When corporate America, working mom, single mom, you said, like, so what were some tools that you used to balance it all? Because what I hear a lot is that moms are really overwhelmed. Now the kids are back at school for the most part, but still there's a lot of anxiety, which is causing, an exponentially more stressful home life. But, moms this last couple of years have been really overwhelmed.
Mm.
And so what were some things you did to help balance your work life, relationship self?
One, a lot of people talk about balance. I'm not a huge believer in balance, because that's everything symmetrically perfect,
And that's not
and
real.
right, it's unreal. But there are 7 key areas in our life, right? Finances, friends, fun, field, which is our career, faith, family, and fun. So
Mhm.
with those 7 key areas, it's like spinning plates. It's like a gas gauges. I kind of see them as gas gauges in front of me. And there's times where my fitness is full, right? Because I'm going to the gym, or I have a routine that I'm doing. And my relationship with my husband's really great. But I feel like I, haven't had very much fun lately. So my fun factor is getting low. My faith is good, so I need to focus on the things that are getting the gas tank low. So I think we need to fuel ourselves in the area and give ourselves some grace to realize that we can't focus on all 7 areas of ourselves all the time. And if you don't have a plan of where you're going, if you don't have a plan at all, right? I'm a big goal setter. I always have a plan. And if you don't have a plan and you're not a goal setter, then how do you know where the mark is of where you're going? And that has been something that has helped me through being a single mother, because I had a plan that week. And it doesn't have to be that you have a goal, financial goal of $20,000 that month, but you know how much your bills are. So you have a financial goal of how many hours you have to work, how many products you have to sell, or what you have to do at your career to make that much money. So, I could say that pouring into myself was the most important thing, but pouring into myself consisted of having confidence and knowing what my plan was,
Yeah.
knowing what my goals were, right? I'm just having it all together, I guess is the word. But the other thing was fueling myself with people that I needed to surround myself with, that fueled me, right? Not the naysayers, not the ones that think, you shouldn't be a single mom, or you should go find a guy and get married.
Mhm.
None of those. I didn't surround myself with the negative people. I only surrounded myself with people that fueled my fire for success. That told me I was a good mom, or that helped me when I needed help, or would grab a child when I needed a child. I had those people that were surrounding me, that cared about me, that loved me. And if we don't keep those people close and surround ourselves with those people, then the problem is we burn out. And when we burn
Mhm.
out and our cups are empty, we have nothing to pour. There's a reason why they say put your mask on first, then put your mask on your children in a plane, right? You've got to put your mask on first. And when you're a single mother, you don't have the opportunity to do a lot of what I get to do today, right? So I get to go get massages and have quiet time with my husband because we're empty nesters. Our kids don't live at home. But when you have children running around and you're raising a family, you have to find time with your spouse if you're married, with your significant other. You need to find time for the two of you to have time away from the children. You need to have time with your girlfriends or whatever fills you up. Is it a hobby that you
That's
love to
right.
go do? Go to the gym. What fills you up? And most women I ask, they have no clue.
I know, right? Yeah.
No clue.
They
So
don't even know how they're doing. They're
number one
so
tip,
overwhelmed.
write it down. What do you love to do? What's a hobby? What lights you up? And it could be just going to the grocery store by yourself
Yeah.
and not have to drag kids with you. And you're like, I just love to go to Starbucks, get a coffee,
Yeah.
cruise around, this grocery store by myself, get my groceries, do what I need to do, have peace and quiet for an hour, and then come back home. If that's what lights you up, you need to be doing that several times a week.
And guilt
Um,
free. Like, when you make
Guilt
that list,
free.
ladies, like don't
Yeah.
judge yourself that it's right or wrong or good or bad, or you should be doing something more productive or checking a to do off your list. Like, consider
Yeah.
this is a to do, because honestly, what you just described, burnout is a predictable outcome if
Yeah.
you don't prioritize. And I love what you said about the 7 F's, because if you don't have awareness around, and maybe you said maybe not all those areas are going to be complete, but you'll notice with the awareness
Hmm.
where you have a depletion that is draining you. And I call it a
Yeah.
power leak, right? But it could be, it's just draining
It's
your
like
energy.
the life, the wheel of life wheel. When you're looking at all those areas,
Yeah.
where are you short? And the areas that you're short on, picture it like a wheel, you're going to have a
Mhm.
bumpy ride.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. But I love how you
Yeah.
framed that. And it's true. I don't think balance is possible, but that awareness and that honesty, and then figuring out for yourself, what is that thing? Like for me, it's a bath. I love taking long salt baths, or a walk in nature. Being in nature is so replenishing for me. For some, what is it for you? What is your thing that when you're feeling low on energy that you do, even today as an empty nester, what is it that you do?
I'm glad that you said that because baths are like the lowest on my list. And I only get in an Epsom salt bath when I'm super sick and I'm trying to like get the sickness out of me and heal my body. But
Mm.
I'm not a bath person. Like it's not any, I know I am not a sit in the glass of wine, have a bath. That's not me. I see it on the movies. It looks relaxing, but I'm like, sit there for 2 minutes and go, am I done? Like this is the longest. I can't sit here any longer.
I love it.
So I love to move. One of my most favorite things
Mm,
to do that fill me up that I love to escape and go just to like be in another reality. So going to a movie is one of the funnest things that I get to do. Now,
nice.
my husband and I walk 2 miles every morning and we love to be active and go hiking and those types of
Nice.
things. But I'm talking like if I just want to get away, gosh, it's so hard because going out with meeting my girlfriends for dinner is another thing that lights me up. I just feel
Mm.
so happy when I'm around people that are happy, right? And I don't have people around me that aren't happy or that are in a bad mood or that aren't like-minded. I'm attracting only those people and I think I've kind of put out this scent now where it's like I'm repelling all the other people, so
I
the
love it.
only people that ever show up to happy hour or dinner are those people, right? We have this
Yeah.
standing monthly happy hour that we do that have like 28 ladies invited on it. But only the ones that show up are the ones that I need to fuel my tank. It's so
I
weird
love
how
it.
that
I
happens. Yeah.
love that. That's so beautiful.
Yeah. I know.
Oh, and it's really different. Everyone's got it's a different thing. And I love that you and I have different things that fill us up, because oftentimes, like I said before, people have a lot of guilt. Women have a lot of guilt around getting their cup filled up. And I think there should be an end to that mindset once and for all. Like if we don't do it, then everyone else pays the price.
You know, I was watching a movie last night. I want to say I think it was like Bad Mom. It was. And the daughter looked at her mom and she said, "You're so selfish
Right.
that you went and went out and hung out with your friends and had lunch and went out with that guy. And she was telling her mom, all you care about is you. You don't care anything about us. And I just thought of that. I was
Mm.
thinking of that line. And I thought right then, that's why women are so fueled by we have to, it's like we have to be a mom, and then we can't even be ourselves anymore. We have to serve everyone, and we're not able to do anything for ourselves. And that's so untrue, because if you were raised believing you were selfish to do anything for yourself, you have to get rid of that, because it's hurting your self-worth, it's hurting your body, it's hurting your health. I never apologized to my kids when I would run at night, when I used to run marathons or go to the gym or whatever it was. I would just go run for an hour, and then come home. And it was like, I have my time to do the things that I need to do. You have I take you to all these activities to do all the fun things that you like to do. And if anyone ever brought that up, we had that conversation.
I think
So,
it's, yeah, I think it's about confidence and knowing you're doing the right thing because
yeah.
I know that my daughter now, she's 17, and she knows if I'm in a bad mood, she's like, Mom, why don't you go exercise? Like, you're always in a better mood after you exercise. And so she has come to understand. But although there were times where I was exercising and I had to put her in the kids club, at the
Hmm.
gym, and she didn't like it, right? So I think it's also having the confidence to know and have the discernment around the balance, because there are edges to it, right? I know some parents who have been incredibly neglectful, and they are selfish, right? So it's these really fine edges. And also, you mentioned God, and I know in my faith, it is part of my faith to serve,
Hmm.
and that can also, get the best of me, right? I can serve too much and then deplete
Yeah.
myself. So it's all these fine things. A question for you. It's kind of an unusual question. It's a little bit unusual for this podcast, it is, but I'm really curious what you think. So you talked about having a plan, and I agree. You have to have a plan for life to some degree. But the older I get, the more I'm starting to wonder if I can, with my little brain, my little human brain, have this, have the plan that actually God has for me. And so what is that balance for you in terms of your plan, not versus, but and God's plan,
Yeah.
and the unfolding of it all, and in the context of receiving, because that's
Yeah.
one of the things we started with.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that's where receiving comes in for me. Because we're all energy, right? We're energy beings. The world is an energy. Every money is an energy. The exchange of money is an energy. The exchange of service is an energy. It's all about energy. And I'm on this path because of doors that God has closed, because of paths He's opened, because of doors He's opened, because of the shifts He's made for me. But that doesn't mean that I'm not in action. And
Right.
that's where I struggle a little bit with some people who are very creative, and they need to stay in a very creative mode, that they lack action oriented pieces in their day. So I'm not saying stay in your head bubble and have a plan that you can't deviate from, but there has to be action, and you need to know where you're
Yes.
going. God will still provide, but He wants you to be in action.
Yes, he does. I
So
agree.
if you're in action and you're starting to go the wrong way, he'll nudge you and bump you over another way,
That's
right?
right.
So I have faith enough. Faith is one of the big F's for me. I have faith enough to know that I'm connected long enough to God on a daily basis. I do a morning routine that fills me up every day, of walking and then reading and journaling and doing my gratitudes, and spending time in prayer. That's for me. And that's my receiving time of really, we have so many hours in the day. And when women tell me they work 7 days a week, I'm like, first of all, that's one of the biggest mistakes you can make, because you're pushing, pushing, pushing for 7 days. When are you ever in receiving mode to receive
Mm,
the work of anything you've done, right?
right.
For
Yeah.
anyone to say yes when you're constantly just doing and doing and doing. So to me, receiving is part of receiving for God's plan. And I could be driving down the road and all of a sudden just get a download of information. It's like, whoa, it's been what I've been needing, but I've been in action the whole time. So I don't think not being in, I mean, God wants to give His children everything, right? All the riches in the world. But you can't just sit at home and pray for it or manifest it or wish for it. There has to be action that goes along with those pieces to create that, right?
I
Someone's out there,
completely agree.
yeah, someone's out there praying right now. that you decide to get out there and share your brilliance because they need you in their life, and they'll find you. A YouTube video will get to them, or a Facebook video will get to them, or someone will all of a sudden hear your name or be introduced. So God has his ways of working that in, but we have to be in action no matter what, and then have that time for receiving. So I get a
Love
lot
it.
of my inspiration in the mornings
That's so
for my
beautiful.
days. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that nugget. I think it really helps. There are a lot of people in the spiritual community who, I would call it, bypassing to a certain degree, not being in action. And then, of course, there are others who are, really have a lot of anxiety and they need to have so much control and they're not allowing to receive. So there is this sweet spot, right? This middle ground that
Yeah.
does take awareness. It takes discernment. And it sounds like it's an art that you've mastered to a certain degree
It
at this
takes a
time.
lot of faith, and faith we
Yes,
can't see, touch, hear, taste, or
that's right.
smell.
That's right.
So, because of that, many people are low in the area of faith because they don't know how to exercise it. And that has a
Mhm.
lot to do with trust. So, opening yourself up to the trust journey.
Oh, you're like speaking my language. You're really like,
Good.
yes. Yes, from your mouth to the hearts and minds of our listeners, to remember who you are
Mhm.
and to lift each other up. Any other last words of wisdom you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Yeah, I think the biggest one for me is that we're all on a path of learning. So, the quote that I use most often is, if learning is beneath you, then leadership is beyond you. So, to me, the
Mm,
two worst words you can ever say is, I know. And we should always be looking for wisdom from others, tapping into others that have become successful as mothers, as business owners, as, fitness trainers, whatever it is that they're successful in. Tap into those people and become a student more often than, you're a teacher, to
mm.
learn from others, and surround yourself with 5 people that are your biggest cheerleaders, that are the ones that are going to fuel you forward, because you are a combination of the 5 people you hang out with. So look around, and if those 5 people aren't cutting it, then you need to get some new friends.
I
Yeah,
love it. Colleen,
yeah,
you also have a book that
I
I
do.
would love our listeners to, or, and also contact you. I mean, so tell us about this book. I'm really curious
Yeah,
to
so
learn more and
it's
how they can.
I'm going to show the video. It's called Step into the Spotlight to Expand Your Influence and Attract More Clients. And it's about attracting the right clients, right? So it has a female on the front with a superhero cape of her, her shadow. We all know that we're superheroes. We all know, women all know that we have capes. We can do it all. You've even said it. We can do everything effortlessly, seamlessly. But we need to get into more habits of asking, just trusting ourselves, having faith in ourselves and our beliefs and our authenticity of who we are, and not trying to be like somebody else. To put yourself out there, you're your own first best impression, right? You're your secret sauce. So that's what this book is about. We don't always have to have the superhero cape on. We can ask people to do things for us, open doors for us. We can say thank you and let it land, and not say, "Oh, thank you. You love my sweater, this silly old thing. I paid $10 for it." Like, just say thank you when someone likes your hair, or, is complimenting you on something. We need to learn to let those things land. So this book is really a compilation of a bunch of women talking about and explaining how you can step into the spotlight in your life for vision, in your life for yourself, for self-care, how you can do it through Instagram, how you can do it through stages, how you can do it through radio. There's a lot of different ways that you can really just authentically get yourself out there, to attract the right people to you. And it's a lot less work when you're being yourself and attracting people, versus pulling and pushing and, trying to convince people that they
That's
need
such
to
an
work.
important message right now. So can
Yeah.
you repeat the title of the book for us, please?
Yeah, it's Step into the Spotlight to Expand Your Influence to Attract the Right Clients.
Beautiful. And then how do we find out more information, get the book, or want to, if we want
Yeah.
to reach out
So,
to you?
one of the best ways to do that is to go to my website, colleenbiggs.net. It's one of the best ways you can connect with me on LinkedIn, social media. I'm everywhere on social media at Lead Up for Women. You can learn more about my community at leadupforwomen.com, of how you can become a member of that community, be spotlighted yourself, get the visibility, be seen, be heard, everything that you deserve as a female.
So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate the time you've taken and the inspiration and how rooted you are in what is true and real. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. I've really enjoyed my time on your podcast.
Be well.
Your listeners are lucky to have you.
Thank you.